We are DIBS for Kids, which stands for Delivering Infinite Bookshelves for Kids. We're based here out of Omaha, Nebraska. Although we work well outside of the Omaha metro area. Here in the center, you can see our mascot, Dewey DIBS. We'd like to tell you that that's an homage to the Dewey Decimal System, but that would be false. The AmeriCorps Vista, actually, who made Dewey, happened to live on Dewey Street in Omaha and thought it'd be a great name. So that's how we ended up with Dewey here. Our presentation here, we just want to give you an overview of what we do, how we work, where we work, how we fund it as well. We get a lot of questions about that. That DIBS does work, and we'll talk about our program evaluation in that, and then really open up some time for question and answer.
Overview here of DIBS. As you can see on the one side over there, we were the 2022 Library of Congress Literacy Practices honoree, which was really cool for us. We felt very honored by that. Also a 2020 National Book Foundation Innovations in Reading Prize as well. So DIBS for Kids, or Delivering Infinite Bookshelves for Kids, we're here because we really want to remove those remove the barriers to access that prevent students from getting nightly reading, which can include things like limited time, transport to a library, money to purchase books, all of those different things. And we want to make sure that they have access to books in their native language. And not only is this in urban areas, but rural as well, because we know that there's an existence of book deserts in lots of different places. What we've done is that what we do is we offer for teachers and classrooms and schools a variety of books. So what we'll do is each classroom that we serve gets 212 books per classroom. These can come in English or in Spanish. Additionally, we have books in our classrooms in Dari, Pashto, Korean, Karenni, Vietnamese, a wide variety of languages that are well needed in every classroom. What the students do is that we have built a custom-led, student-led software that's very easy to use for not only students, but teachers as well. We got to keep it clean. Teachers do not have time to be dealing with a whole lot of other things. So we make sure we keep it very clean and easy for not only the teachers, but the students. So what those students do is every day they come into the classroom with their book. They take their book out of their folder that we've given them, and they hold it up to the first computer in their classroom. Could be an iPad, computer. We have old Macs, all the things are available. There's QR codes on the back of every book that we put into classrooms. They hold that QR code up to the camera. It takes a picture of it, and then they get to see their dashboard that shows the number of books that they've read in a little emoji, because we've gamified it just a little bit. They go shopping for their next book amidst those 212 books that we put into the classroom. They find what they'd like to read. They go to the second device. They hold the QR code up again to the camera that's there, and they've checked their book out for the evening. And then they take that home and read it, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's like brushing your teeth. Every day they do that with their books. They check one in, they check one out. All of the things can happen. We think it's really cool because we're in classrooms every single day. So we're meeting the kids right where they're at, where they can select that book for nightly reading.
And then the reason we call it Delivering Infinite Bookshelves is because those sets that we built out, my set is different than Marie's set, is different from Amy's, is different than John's. So about every 4 to 6 weeks, we ask the teachers in a building to rotate their sets so the children get access to an entirely new set of 212 books. And so on any given year, there's about 1,000 to 1,200 books that students get access to.
Exactly.
Yep. We'll skip our little video.
Okay.
So how we work. I'm sure a decent number of you on this call have seen Scarborough's Reading Rope. I won't get into too much detail with that, but what we do is we combine our software with physical books, with fiscal responsibility, and that equals out for us of that support for acquiring language comprehension. Language comprehension, as we all know, is background knowledge, vocabulary, language structure, reasoning, literacy knowledge. We're not a curriculum, and we are not a phonics-based program. Very important, we're highly supportive of it, but that's not our space. Our space is providing those books for listening comprehension, for language comprehension, in a wide variety of those books. They're high interest, they're high quality, they're high context. I was joking earlier this morning, we've snuck some poetry in there, and some of the kids don't even know. So the kids can really build out that language comprehension piece of reading comprehension itself.
I'm going to talk a little bit about where we work. So as you can see on the one side of the presentation here, in terms of Nebraska, this is our home. So we're based out of Omaha. So we work very closely with Omaha Public Schools. Currently, we have 19 schools within Omaha Public Schools that do DIBS K through 3. We're also in Norfolk Public Schools, as well as Wayne schools, Wayne Public Schools. And those are kind of a little bit more Western Nebraska. Millard Public Schools, and we additionally are in Iowa, Michigan, and one school in Denver. That's a little experiment for us right now.
We're always running a pilot somewhere.
That's right, always a pilot. We've just moved into some private schools here in Omaha, which has been new for us, but a great experience as well. Currently, we serve 258 teachers and over 5,000 students as of February 2023. Like I said, we're primarily in kindergarten to third grade classrooms. However, I will have to say this, Angie and I have soft hearts, and we have been talked into a couple fourth grade classrooms, a couple pre-Ks and things like that. So, but once again, those are really great experiments for us to do, great pilots for us to try to see how we can continue growing and expanding. We also work with ESL, ELL, and EL classrooms. And we do have some classrooms starting here in March and April, so we're really excited about that as well.
So where we work, what you're looking at here in the upper left is the Omaha Public Schools percentage of students eligible for free and reduced lunch based upon the elementary school neighborhoods. So the dark blue area is 80% or over children are eligible for free and reduced lunch. That gray area there in the middle is that every student in those particular schools is eligible, their community school. That is now true for all of OPS at this point. They have a 3-year grant to provide lunch and breakfast for every student. So this is going to be what we look at here for the next few years, at least for Omaha. And this is lined up with the United for Literacy, the global book desert map. We've lined this up deliberately. I don't know if you can see this line right here. This is a really important marker in Omaha. It's 72nd Street. That's kind of the historical separation of the city. It's a very segregated city. We are not proud of it, but it is a true statement. And you can see it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio, correlation and ratio of high poverty and book deserts. So almost all of the schools we serve in Omaha are east of that 72nd Street line because we prioritize getting books to students in book deserts who would otherwise not have access whatsoever. So how do we fund it? It's a combination of things, actually. Grants, individual donations, earned revenue is on the, if you will, the revenue side. So it breaks out as of February 28th. We just closed down that month. 77% grants, 5% individual donations, 18% earned revenue. The earned revenue line is we contract with schools to provide DIBS for them. They pay us, to be frank with you. And we, we're not a for-profit organization. We don't, make a quote unquote killing off of it, but we take that earned revenue and pour that back into the philanthropic mission. It also helps with unrestricted funding, capacity building, and the like. We also, and this is where I spend a lot of time in our financials, is on the expense side. We have in-kind, volume, local discounts for book purchases. All of the books we provide are new. We do not at this time take book donations anymore. We spend a lot of time with our software developers. They've been fantastic. We've built a fantastic partnership, so they do provide in-kind support for us. Our cloud services are all in kind as well. So we work really hard on both sides of the balance sheet and the profit and loss sheets to be able to fund DIBS. And we've built out really impactful relationships with our funders, our grantors here locally, statewide, regionally. We have some national grants as well. And I would say One of the key pieces to that for us is both the data that we're going to show you here in a little bit, but also we literally write each grant. So yes, absolutely have a bank of standardized answers, but we take the time to write out every single one and go through that. And that's been a really impactful decision for us. It's really impactful.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can talk about the cost of DIBS here as well. So as we talked about a little bit earlier, the books, there's approximately 212 in English, Spanish, or a mix thereof. They're each affixed with a unique QR code. There's 6 book six book bins, excuse me, as well as book replenishment funds. You guys, those QR codes are affixed mainly for us. I do have a printer in the office that because we work with a lot of different publishers, but they're mainly affixed through a partnership that we have with Scholastic, which is awesome. The students also get an individual student folder for book transport that comes with a family letter in English and Spanish or other languages needed, as well as a book log. This includes our mixed methods multi-year program evaluation and on-demand training for teachers, classrooms, students, that kind of thing, as well as the ongoing support of our DIBS staff, which there's 2 of us, and then we have 2 part-time people as well. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. One of the other things we've done here on how do we fund it and the financing side is when we approach funders, we approach for 5 years per classroom. Because the first year is half the expense. It's purchasing the books, like, for obvious reasons. But the last thing we want to do is then go to a school in year 2 and be like, oh, well, we're out of money. That's really sad. And we're taking the program away. So we are very upfront with our funders that their grant to us covers a 5-year impact in the school or classroom that they're supporting. That doesn't mean we do not go back to the same funders for the next year. Right. It's just for a different school or a different project or something else. And so we strategically look at where we at in that 5-year cycle in schools. So we, again, can have that ongoing conversation with our funders.
We'll talk really quickly here about DIBS does work. As you can see over here, these are some things that our teachers say, and through this multi-year mixed methods external program evaluation, we do this in partnership with Omaha Public Schools. So some of the parts are surveys, the other part is hard data. And as you can see, most teachers really enjoy having DIBS for a variety of reasons. The books are available at appropriate reading levels. They have the opportunity to select materials that interest them. They're of good quality and variety. So there's teachers really come out enjoying DIBS for a variety of different reasons.
In fact, we asked the opposite question as well. What have you not liked? And 22% of our teachers said there's nothing they do not like. So
that's good.
It was really
sorry, what families say. We also survey families as well in both English and Spanish, and to make sure that we're gathering, a wide variety of people. They also really enjoy DIBS just because it helps support that in-home reading with growth, excitement, motivation, just the reading skills in general, especially for our dual language and schools that have high population of ELL classrooms and programs. Those non-English books are particularly important and praised by parents because they do assist with, first of all, maintaining that first language, and secondly, with helping to grow proficiency in the second language as well as that first language. So we've heard from a lot of parents that that's something very beneficial for them.
And then on the quantitative side, we're running 2 different quantitative studies. The first is through MAP, which that's a test used in the Midwest a lot. I'm not sure on the East Coast. MAP stands for Measures of Academic Progress. It does not test proficiency. What it's testing is our skills growing at an expected rate. The other one we use is called NSCAS. That's the state of Nebraska's proficiency testing. For those of you who are familiar with kind of state testing, of course it's behind. So we will get the spring 2021 NSCAS results as compared to our cohort models in summer 2023. But we already have MAP. MAP is taken 3 times a year, fall, winter, spring, by students. And like I said, it's measuring growth and whether expectations are being met. And you can see in the 2019-2020 year, the DIBS cohort compared to a similarly situated student cohort within Omaha Public Schools did see statistically significant growth and score change and percentage that met or exceeded the expected growth. Then the pandemic happened, things happen, but you can still see the students who have access to DIBS are meeting their expected growth at a higher rate. They are back on path to getting, I think, that statistical significance. Again, I'm not a statistician. Again, we'll know in the summer here for this particular school year what those MAP scores look like. But I think we're cautiously optimistic given the dosage rates we're seeing of what that will come out to. So here are the numbers.
So this is just our last slide here. We're just going to talk about DIBS by the numbers so you can kind of see over on the side, there's the number of books taken home. We did some quick data yesterday. So we have 181 students who've taken already this year home 100 or more books. 506 have taken home 75 to 99 and so on. So as you can see, our kids are taking home a lot of books each school year. Those kids that are at 100 will probably get close to 150. Yeah. I think my highest kid ever was like 168 or something close to that. So a lot of books are going home with these kids every school year, which is great. On the other side, you can see how we've grown over time. Angie and I joke that it's been like a hockey stick, it feels like. That 2015-2016 school year was the first year that we had our technology available for students to use. And we were in 2 schools, but only 1 school was using the tech at that point in time. So as you can see, we've had really great growth. When we add all of these numbers up, we're going to hit 1 million books this year. So it's something we're really excited about and proud of.
I'm really proud of it. Especially, you know, we are, like I said, we're just really proud of it. So, but that in a nutshell is how, you know, we manage the funding, how we do run DIBS. We wanted to really give time for questions though, because we know our program's a little bit different because we do have the capability to run a really extensive program evaluation and really take the time to answer those questions. So let me hop into the chat and see what we have here. So, and feel free to ask any question you'd like. Go for it.
Thanks, Amanda, that it's not named after.
Yes, we're okay with it. Yeah, we're okay with it. It's just pointing out that that's not true. So. Yeah.
And then can we share the survey questions and results after the presentation? Yes, we can. What kind of loss rate? This is the biggest question, Krista. So we get this question a lot from teachers. What happens if the book is lost, right? And we say, I hate to say that, we don't care, but we kind of don't care. We have about a 2% loss rate overall, which is not bad at all. And here's the deal. I lose things, you guys lose things, as adults, we lose things. If a book gets lost, it found its forever home. That's how I think about it. And that is a-okay with us. What we'll do if there's a lot of loss in a classroom, because as you guys know, things get well loved, all of that happens, you know, the books get kind of grimy, jelly. I had one kid tell me that he sweated on a book. I was like, no, thank you. Something's wrong with you.
Also, the teacher tried to give it back to us and we were like, throw it away. We don't want it either.
Yeah. So things do happen like that. And we bring in replenishment books to replace those for the classrooms.
That's part of that budgetary process. We build in about 40% replenishment over that 5 years. So we are doing that. Yeah, 212.
Sarah had the question about how do you determine that 212 is the right number? It is very exact and very strange. It's kind of how they fit in the bins, honestly. So like we want to make sure that the bins are really full, but not too full. And then since they change classrooms about every 4 to 6 weeks, really the kids kind of get bored by that 5-week mark because they've kind of gone through most of them. So then they switch. So the 212, it's not necessarily arbitrary, but a little bit, not going to lie. And then looking at it, when I order all of those books, they really do fit into those bins nicely. And I especially jam the lower level books, you might call them, or the more easy readers. That is definitely a little bit more packed than those higher levels, just because of the grades that we serve. But we are always constantly kind of trying to think through things like if a teacher tells us it's not enough, we bring more. Or if a teacher tells me, I have so many high readers right now, can you give me more books at that higher level? Absolutely, we can.
How do we keep separate from our classroom libraries? Two ways. One, because we also bring the book bins in. Those book bins themselves are labeled with our logo and the like, as well as every book has QR codes. So if there's a QR code, it's ours. If there's not a QR code, it's not. One of the things also, and this is probably unique to the schools we work in, for the most part, the classroom libraries, those books do not get taken home for a variety of district reasons and teacher reasons, all of which are fine. So ours are the books that go home on a nightly basis. So they're also usually physically separate from the classroom library in the classrooms themselves. That's all you.
Taylor is asking, how do you get schools and classrooms on board? Okay, previously, so little background, I'm previously a bilingual school psychologist for OPS, so I had a lot of relationships. So there was that option. So like, it was kind of like friend to friend at first. It grew very organically in that way. Now it's a little bit more of like word of mouth from principal to principal. Or maybe Angie and I are like, okay, we've heard of this school. What do we think that, you know, like, could this be a good option for us to move into? But how we get with them on board is that we do a principal meeting first. So we're introducing it to the principal, explaining the program, doing all that. The second thing that we do is meet with every classroom teacher who could be impacted by this program. So that's K through 3. And what we do is it is never a mandate. This is one of my really big things, is that this is never mandated, because if you already have a really good take-home book program, I don't want to change that for you. You know, I don't want to make that difference for you as a teacher. But I will have to say that it's almost all the teachers opt in every time, unless they have a take-home book program. So,
do we provide the 2 computers? We do not, for a very simple reason, because again, all the schools we work in currently, to get connected into their Wi-Fi and to their networks, need to be district owned. Now, we definitely help literally raid closets in the district offices. We were like, hey, we're pretty sure closet 412 has some iPads you might want to check out. But we do work with the IT departments very closely to have our software is web-based, to have the web clip, if you will, bookmarked, automatically ready to go on the iPads. But no, we don't purchase for that reason.
Taylor, I'm sorry, I missed your third question there about how do I onboard new classes. We have all video training for all of the teachers. So I cannot meet with 258 teachers. That is an impossible task. Not that I don't want to. I do know all of them in my head. I'm not kidding. I could probably do them all.
You probably can.
But we use video training for all of that. So, and it's not beautiful. You guys, you know, you're all nonprofits. It is me on Canva. It's real special. I even made a big mistake at the end, and then I had to add like another video. But you know what? It works for now. And until we have the marketing budget to be able to do that, it's okay.
Yeah.
They don't mind. It's like real people. They kind of think it's probably funny.
They think it's funny. We've shown it to a couple funders and they think it's hysterical. Like, oh, thanks for being real.
Yeah.
Like, we know that our money is not going to a $50,000 slick thing. You did it.
Yeah. My daughter narrates the kid version. So, you know, I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So. Any other questions?
Do you fund the full, will you only do the program if you can fund the full school, or can a teacher individually apply for the program?
Yeah, I would say yes now.
At this point, the answer is, yeah, there needs to be critical mass in the school. That's usually about 4 classrooms. 2 years ago, that wasn't the case, but now because of scale, oh, thank you, Amy. Now because of scale, because of capacity, and just how we know program fidelity needs to work through our program evaluation, we want at least 4. Some of the larger buildings we're in, we're up to 17, 18 classrooms. That's also not a problem for us. And we prefer it that way, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly. Kayla's asking, do you have a mechanism to make sure that the teachers are actually watch the video training? That's a great question, Kayla.
Guilt.
Yeah. There is a little bit of guilt involved in there. I try to work really closely with principals to make sure that there's kind of like a reminder system there. I send out quite a few reminders, not quite a few, that's not true. I do send out occasional reminders as well that they watch it. And you can kind of tell the teachers that don't start with the program, because I can see it on my back end, which they're like, oh, you can see that? Yes, I can see what you're doing. If they're not started, I go in and give a personal visit. So we have kind of a tiered system that we've created. Our 2 part-time people, they're called school support coordinators. So they're kind of that first section. But if there's a teacher that's not getting started, I actually personally go in and will get them started myself. How I do that if it's outside of Omaha is I just do Zoom call.
We're happy to answer any other questions you may think of today or tomorrow or next week. But
yeah.
How
We
do
just
you
appreciate you
choose-
guys listening to us.
Yeah.
How do you choose the books that go into each classroom, and how often do you change over that list?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So with Scholastic, I have handpicked each of the 6 different sets of 212 books, as well as the Spanish sets that we have. Then what Scholastic does is they warehouse them basically until we're ready to get them shipped out to schools by classroom, by teacher, and all of that. When we work with other publishers, I also handpick them, and Angie and I, we joke because on Friday afternoons, that's like our favorite thing to do, is to go onto different publishers and like find new books and add them to the cart and have them shipped to us and all the things. So we really do a lot of handpicking of that. How often they turn over with Scholastic is once per year. I redo that situation with my friend Ellen at Scholastic, and we figure out what's next and what's new. I will let you guys know, in terms of like a leveling system from like F&P, which I know is a little bit going by the wayside, but I'm real careful to really only order from like level A to level Q because of content and because of the grades that we're in. So we're real careful about that kind of thing.
We also know from our software what's popular, what books are very popular, what books are not. So we look at that and are constantly monitoring it. So for example, National Geographic, who would win? Animals, very popular right now. But always, but it varies, right? So right now, koalas are having a moment.
They're cute.
They're cute. Run with it. So, and then for things like, so for example, Paw Patrol is not having its moment anymore. So we go through the collections, we are constantly looking at it. We have an ongoing theory that any book about animals that has a blue cover will be popular.
Very popular.
It seems to be bearing fruit. So we're constantly looking at that data we're getting back to adjust in what we purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Well, idea. Yeah, we have to hire some people for capacity first, Kelly.
Kelly, are you talking about like the books, like what's popular?
Yeah, I think that's you know, we do it a lot. My team does it a lot when we're doing our books on break and we're distributing, you know, 70,000 books. We have to like kind of visually, and with our memories in mind is awful, you know, kind of watch what kids are picking because we don't have an inventory system on that level. So I just think it's fascinating, because when we're doing book ordering, we always want the, you know, what is going to be the most popular. So
Kelly, I can send you an email with what's popular from kids in
Aw,
Omaha and
you
Nebraska.
would do that? That was so sweet. I would love that.